live news broadcasts. If they had access to one of these and had a bit of knowledge of how to
They
use
put that
it,
nap on the driver.
hijackers could play their own tape close to the antenna and
in that bitch sleep.
But if they had not,
Unveiling the secrets of Max Headroom, the ultimate television hack.
Two different Chicago television stations. Someone using sophisticated equipment managed to briefly and illegally override broadcast signals on WGN-TV and WTTW. Jack Kennedy reports now that both incidents are under investigation.
In November 1987, during the 9 o'clock news on Chicago's WGN-TV, the TV signal suddenly switched to something else.
During a game?
28 seconds later, it was gone.
Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I. You really planned
that. During a game,
this was just
bro?
the warm. A few hours later, it was about to get a whole lot weirder. It's 11:20 p.m. WTTW, a TV station based in Chicago, is broadcasting an episode of Doctor Who, but the image suddenly changes. Something or someone has taken over the TV station, and engineers are frantically trying to regain control over the station. Where is this signal coming from?
How the fuck can you do that though?
When WGN's signal had been interrupted earlier in the evening, engineers there switched to a backup frequency, kicking the hijackers off the air. But nobody was on duty to do this at WGN's antenna. This meant that the station was completely powerless to stop the attack. The hijackers were in total control of the station.
Involved in this kind of thing, that there's a maximum penalty of $100,000, 1 year in jail, or both.
The FCC says or warns that should the pirates try it again, it will only make it easier for the FCC to track them.
You ever seen them scammer videos, hacking hackers or some shit like that? Them videos be tough, man.
To this day, no one has ever been charged, but the story soon became legendary. Decades passed, and questions were still unanswered. Who were the hijackers? Well, maybe some answers can be found in the broadcast itself. If we look for clues in the hijack footage, we know there are at least 3 people involved. There is the person wearing the mask, and another operating the camera. A third person is rotating.
Oh no, I'm not saying this anonymous. I'm saying, like, you know,
because at some point in the footage, the camera moves.
Something like that.
And at the end of the footage, when 2 people appear, the rotating metal background has stopped moving. The footage we see in the incident is much lower quality than what we would expect from a professional TV camera. So, the hijackers probably used a consumer-grade camera, like a VHS or a Hi-8 camcorder.
But it's back in the day they hacking shit, bro. This is elite.
Like a garage or a warehouse.
It's
you can see a glimpse
elite,
of some
bro.
box-like shapes in the corner at one point. Lights had been set up in the room, and we can hear the use of an audio effect to distort the microphone. This could be something like a guitar effects pedal with distortion and modulator effect.
That's fucking insane,
At one
bro.
point, we see a visible cut in the action.
He probably
This
just in that
shows us that the
bitch
hijack was
chilling.
pre-recorded and not performed live, so it was well planned in advance. In the late 80s,
They definitely kicking it somewhere, bro.
The images from TV stations were converted into microwave signals. Each TV station in the area used a specific frequency, and they aimed their microwave signals towards an antenna. These signals work best when nothing is in their way, so antennas were usually placed at the highest possible point. In Chicago, this is the Willis Tower, which at the time was known as the Sears Tower. From this high point, TV broadcasts can reach a much wider area, finally picked up by the receivers on the viewers' televisions.
It's crazy how all this technology shit works.
Take over the TV station broadcast. Maybe they hijacked the signal before it even left the building.
Ran straight up.
The
hijackers
to the
tower and dip.
TV station employees, switching the broadcast signal with the station's own equipment. Or maybe the hijackers gained access to one of these, a TV news truck.
I'm about to say they had to have something.
Packed full of equipment,
they had to have something.
Microwave transmitter that can directly send a signal to an antenna for things like live news broadcasts. If they had access to one of these and had a bit of knowledge of how to
They
use
put
it,
that nap on the driver.
hijackers could play their
That
own
nigga
tape close to the antenna and easily taken over the station.
He and that bitch sleep.
But if they had knowledge about this kind of
That
technology,
nigga wake up.
maybe the hijackers built
Put it
their
back
own
down.
homemade microwave transmitter. At the time,
Exactly.
all the parts for this could be bought from amateur radio stores across Chicago. Microwave transmitters work best when there's nothing in the way of the signal. So if they had their own homemade kit, they had the best chance of success if they placed it as close to the tower as possible. With enough skill,
boys hell,
timing,
bro.
aim, and power, their signal would overpower the one
Bro,
coming
what?
from the TV station.
Them boy did all this, man. They could have been some real
For
good
90 seconds,
assets to the world. I mean, shit, they still are. They ain't get caught, so shit, fuck it.
was this just a meaningless prank? Or was there a deeper meaning in the message?
I mean, it didn't go no further,
Are there
so
clues in the broadcast itself?
why y'all tripping?
Chuck Swirsky. He was a TV reporter at the time of the hijack, who was employed by WGN.
They try to fuck
This sounds
her
like the
name
theme
up.
tune to Clutch Cargo. This show was being aired on WGN at the time.
Never heard this shit.
Maybe
That
this
shit's
is another
super dope
reference to
bag.
Clutch Cargo, because the last episode that aired on WGN was called The Big X.
I guess they're giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds.
Greatest World Newspaper, or maybe World's Greatest Newspaper, WGN. If these clues are to be believed, it means there's strong evidence that the hijack was orchestrated
See, you gotta
for
read every single
and against
thing, bro.
WGN, the station that received the first hijacking that night. Many people, including the FCC, believe that the hijackers may be linked to WGN TV, maybe a current or ex-employee
He
with a
linked to
grudge against the
somebody.
station.
All early evidence points to someone
if it was
with
the
a broadcasting
cameraman?
background.
Someone who really knows the business and microwave
They
in
would have
general.
caught their
And while
ass,
it may have been a
bro.
stunt, it is not treated as a joke. Chicago's video pirate could
But
face
why
a
broadcast this second hijack with messages about WGN
I mean,
on a completely
really,
different station?
It really could have
Well,
been a nigga,
maybe the
though. Now I'm
hijackers
thinking
didn't
about
have
it.
a choice. Maybe their real target was always WGN. When the engineers there switched the frequencies, the hijackers changed their attack to WTTW instead. This means that the hijackers must have been in a location where both of the TV station signals were close together. All the clues suggest that they must have done it somewhere around here, a spot that allowed them more options if one of the attacks failed. This was not the first hijack of a TV station.
By mail order. Pardon me?
Folks, we have someone on the set.
And it also wasn't the last.
Pro-reform protesters allegedly hacked Iranian state TV Saturday,
That's how I feel about
disrupting
it.
its nightly news program, which was airing a segment with the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
But it remains the most complete, the most successful, and the most notorious one in history. But despite the legendary status of this incident, the people responsible have never been identified.
It annoyed some viewers.
No, I just thought it would be just a slight mess up, but that in the middle of the tape, it's going to be... We're going to have to tape over it.
It angered others.
Somebody wants to get attention, what do? They go break into a television broadcast. Just to get attention, like throwing a brick through your window, so to speak.
Damn.
Well, some thought it was a lot of fun. So what did you think about the whole thing?
Very, very funny.
That night, many viewers around Chicago were confused, scared maybe,
He said
by this
funny.
mysterious masked figure.
What the fuck is
But a
funny,
much deeper
nigga?
fear ran through the TV station bosses and engineers around the world, because this incident showed them that TV was not just something that they controlled. The elusive and exclusive world of TV was suddenly no match for someone with just the right knowledge and motivation. There is no doubt that some people in the world will know the truth. They could tell you who, how, and why,
nigga,
but they don't.
probably. Probably
Thousands
not.
of people have dug into the
They
details
still
again
can't find
and
him.
again for the last 30 years. From bulletin boards to
That boy
forums,
never got
Reddit
caught.
threads and podcasts, and even here, now, we are still talking about that night in 1987. The search for answers may be a driving force for keeping this story alive. But maybe this incident continues to captivate more in lore than in logic. If we know all the answers, it takes all the fun out of asking the questions, following the mystery. Maybe, after all these years, the magic of Mac's Headroom is simply in the way it leaves us wondering.
Okay. Whoa.